Can you talk about money? What are all these feelings which are around money? What makes it so powerful that people sacrifice their lives for it?
This is a very significant question. All the religions have been against wealth, because wealth can give you all that can be purchased in life. And almost everything can be purchased except those spiritual values, love, compassion, enlightenment, freedom. But these few things are exceptions, and exceptions always prove the rule.
2021 has been a year like no other. And no, we are not talking about the pandemic. We're talking about the people who have joined the Billionaires Club on the famous Forbes list. The number of billionaires on the Forbes 35th annual list of the world's richest skyrocketed to 2,755, this being 660 more new billionaires compared to 2020. Of these billionaires, 493 were new on the list. A quick calculation brings that to one new billionaire every 17 hours. Let's forget about the statistics. I'm sure you know who tops the list. Right, Jeffrey Preston Bezos, better known as Jeff Bezos, whose wealth is as massive as the Amazon forest, tops the list for the fourth year running, with a whopping $177 billion. Jeff, who recently stepped down as Amazon's CEO to take over as the company's executive chairman, has a 10.3% stake in Amazon, which is the primary source of his wealth. He has also diversified into other investments such as Zappos, Elemental Tech, Souk.com, The Washington Post, Blue Origin, Whole Foods, and Kiva Systems. Rocketing into second spot is Elon Musk, who is valued at $151 billion. The South African-born entrepreneur is the founder and CEO of SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, and is also the co-founder of Neuralink and OpenAI. That is quite a portfolio between these two magnates. But are these two people really the richest in the world? Or are there other people who are way wealthier, but for some reason are not included in the Forbes or Bloomberg's lists? Well, sit back and have fun as we answer this question. The name Mohammed bin Salman may not ring a bell to many. Let's go back to the basics, guys. Mohammed bin Salman is a member of the Saudi royal family and the son of Saudi King Salman bin Abdulaziz and his third wife, Faida bint Fala bin Sultan. He has served as the Minister of Defense since 2015 and as Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia since 2017. Time to talk about money now. The Crown Prince does not shy away from spending heavily because he has the money already. He owns a $500 million yacht, a $450 million Leonardo da Vinci painting, and a $300 million French chateau. Actually, there's a small story about the yacht. In 2015, bin Salman was vacationing in the south of France when he spotted a 440-foot yacht from afar and loved it. He then sent his aide to talk to the owner, Russian vodka mogul Yuri Shefler. The selling proposal of $500 million was too good for Scheffler to refuse to sell, so he agreed to it, sold the yacht, and turned it over to its owner the same day. The Crown Prince is also the mastermind of a giant resort near Jeddah that, once complete, will host 7 palaces for the royal family. The resort is also built around a giant artificial lake, shaped like a flower. It seems that bin Salman doesn't care what the world says about his extravagant spending. What matters to him is the flex. As far as my private expenses, I'm a rich person and not a poor person. I'm not Gandhi or Mandela, bin Salman said in a CBS News interview in 2018. The Crown Prince was also mentioned as an interested party in the recently failed bid to purchase Premier League club Newcastle United for £300 million. We shall reveal the prince's connection later in this video. So how much is bin Salman really worth? A quick Google search will show you that he is worth about $7 billion. So, why are we considering him as the richest, while his net worth is not even a quarter of Jeff's or Elon's? The 33-year-old King Saud University law graduate controls part of the royal family's immense wealth, which is estimated at about $2.4 trillion. In 2020, United Kingdom's national budget was £928 billion. This means that Saudi's royal family would comfortably finance the United Kingdom for a whole year and remain with some pocket change. Mathematically, Saudi's royal family is 16 times richer than the British royal family. According to Forbes, the top 10 richest people in the world are worth $1.15 trillion. That's not even half the Saudi royal family's wealth. So, how did the Saudi royal family acquire such massive wealth? To answer that question, we would have to travel about 80 years back when the country, under the reign of King Abdulaziz ibn Saud, discovered vast oil reserves. Much of the revenue acquired from the sale of this oil remained within the royal family. Years later, when Saudi Aramco was formed, it became the world's biggest oil company, and the Saudi royal family controls everything about the $2.4 trillion company. Saudi Aramco is considered the backbone of the sprawling fortune of the royal family. So, why do Forbes and Bloomberg fail to recognize Mohammed bin Salman as the richest person in the world despite controlling such immense wealth? First, the Crown Prince, who is seen as the face of the royal family, has been at the center of many scandals that have tainted his image, and which may have played a role in Forbes and Bloomberg failing to acknowledge him in the coveted list. In 2015, bin Salman oversaw close to 20,000 raids on Houthi-held areas in Yemen. These raids claimed thousands of lives and destroyed some of the essential amenities in Yemen, such as hospitals, schools, roads, and markets. Human rights groups and the international media blame bin Salman for coordinating these attacks, while the United Nations described the crisis as the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Bin Salman defended this move by stating, "We don't need to have a new Hezbollah in the Arabian Peninsula. This is a red line not only for Saudi Arabia, but for the whole world." This sounded like an indirect, "Yes, we're conducting raids, what are you gonna do?" In 2018, the Crown Prince was in the limelight again, for not so good reasons. A few weeks before the Saudi government officially reversed its rule that prohibited women from driving, several activists had been arrested in what was seen as an attempt by bin Salman to cement his position in power, and to show that criticism of his style of ruling would not be accepted. Bin Salman, in using his cunning nature to dodging media questions, said that some of those who had been arrested were suspected of having connections with foreign intelligence bodies that had attempted to harm the kingdom. "I believe that there will be a formal case against them based under Saudi law," the Crown Prince was quoted saying by Bloomberg in 2018, despite being released from prison earlier in the year. 1,001 days after being arrested, one of the women is still under strict instructions to cease from her activism or risk re-arresting. In the same year, Saudi authorities conducted a purported crackdown on corrupt individuals. Your guess is as good as mine on who sanctioned the crackdown. The one and only Mohammed bin Salman. This crackdown affected some of the wealthiest individuals in Saudi Arabia, and Forbes even decided to exclude every billionaire hailing from the kingdom as it was unable to assess their wealth after many of them were detained for months. Bin Salman did not even spare members of his own family, as he authorized the arrest of Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. At the end of the crackdown, the prince announced that $106 billion had been recovered through settlements with the arrested billionaires. Quite an unorthodox strategy to get money out of the pockets of your own citizens, if you ask me. 2018 seems to be the year that bin Salman went all out. In October, a US-based journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. A report released this year by the United States' authorities revealed that the Crown Prince approved an operation to either capture or kill Khashoggi. Bin Salman was criticized world over for his role in the murder of Khashoggi, but as expected, he rejected the report, terming it negative, false, and unacceptable. Quick question, guys. Do you remember at the start of the video when we said we shall reveal how Bin Salman is connected to the failed purchase of Newcastle United? Well, here we have it. The proposed bid was backed by a Saudi consortium, which include the Kingdom's Sovereign Wealth Fund, the Public Investment Fund. The fund is chaired by yours truly, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The takeover process stalled after a series of complaints and concerns were raised concerning the kingdom's role in human rights violations. Amnesty International pleaded with the Premier League to block the bid since the fund was chaired by the Crown Prince, who had been involved in a sweeping crackdown on human rights. It is clear that these complaints played a major role in the eventual withdrawal of the bid by the Salman-led consortium. Is there any other reason that might have made the likes of Forbes and Bloomberg overlook bin Salman in their annual list? We have another scenario in mind. Let's take Bloomberg as an example. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index uses a mixture of public and private data, tracks stock prices, and other publicly disclosed holdings. Bloomberg also relies on the calculated values for private companies of individuals using derived data. Now, here lies the problem. Despite bin Salman being a heavy spender on luxury items, he and his family are notoriously private about their wealth, and there are no other companies that can be decisively linked to the royals. There are also editorial policies that the likes of Forbes and Bloomberg follow that might have contributed to bin Salman being snubbed. To understand these policies, let's look at El Chapo's case. In 2013, Forbes dropped the notorious drug dealer from the list because they were unable to reach him to verify figures. Forbes said it was also unclear how El Chapo spent his money at the time. The question here is the wealth verifiable? If yes, let's put him on the list. If not, then the individual doesn't make the cut. Well, for bin Salman, his wealth is largely not verifiable, because he has never been able to verify it. We will not dwell on whether it's clear how he spends his money. The yacht, the jets, the paintings, and the luxurious residences are all out there for us to see how he spends his billions. Well guys, that's all we had for today. Now, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly click on the subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment and share this video as well. Don't forget the notification bell for future video updates. Hope to see you next time in true Saudi style. Inshallah.